product is another British brand based London. They started. I had a look on their website actually. More catching to the eye, less dulls, more of a high shine, then this would certainly be for you. I mean, I remember a number of years ago, I was wearing overtly shiny shoes, almost like dance shoes in a way. I don't know, I think they'll probably be coming back. Well, actually, interestingly, a lot of more formal shiny shoes generally come around in trend a certain part of the year. And they are going at $93.24 at the moment. So that is the 15% off discount there. On top of, no, there's no other discount. That is 15% off. So again, originally it was $136, $137. With that extra 15% off, it just takes it under that $100 mark. And, it's always nice to save a couple of cents, right? So yeah, they are based London, and this is obviously the live stream deal as well. Guys, please, any questions? Feel free to ask. I am here for another 15 minutes. You've got me in regards to this show. I'm going to go back now in regards to the history of the formal shoe. So we spoke about in the mid-16th century, Charles I, war and political unrest. Shoes, well, boots really became the footwear of choice because of the practical nature of certainly being in the battlefield and on horseback. They certainly needed that practicality. But in the 18th century, King Louis XVI, this was, and again, we've spoken about this on shows before, King Louis certainly was a trendsetter, and not just in France and Europe, but also in the UK and England as well, certainly England as well. And so the influence of French fashion was huge. And we can't understate the fact that we don't have any on today's show, but buckles, shoe buckles became a thing. And again, this would show your status and your wealth, essentially, in regards to what type of buckle you would adorn your shoe with. So men that were of lower status generally would have a brass buckle. But then, obviously, men of a higher rank and wealth would have sometimes diamond-encrusted buckles, or, they would have bejeweled stone setters as well. So, again, this was just to show your status in society and where you stood, no pun intended. Moving on to the 19th century, and this is just to double back on regards to what I said earlier. These types of shoes that I'm showing you now, such as the Oxford and the Derby, were introduced. And Oxford and Derby shoes, obviously you could kind of tell where they originate from, again, England, are still very in vogue. And certainly, guys, I would look into buying a decent pair of either or, you know, as I said earlier, maybe a pair of Chelsea boots as well for the weekend, and maybe something more casual attire. I have a funny thing in regards to men's shoes. You can certainly tell when men buy cheap formal shoes. There's just something about the offness of the cheap leather, if they are even leather at all. But you should certainly invest in a good pair of shoes. You can't go wrong. And also, you know, potentially your date might be checking out your shoes. My dad's a big believer in always polishing your shoes. So I could show you mine today, and I think I might actually when we move on to the docks, because I have a very, very similar pair here. But he always recommends, you know, make sure that I shine my shoes whenever I'm going out. And I always try and adhere to that, especially when I'm seeing him, especially when I'm seeing my parents. I always make sure that I'm wearing a clean, hopefully pressed shirt and a good, clean, buffeted pair of shoes. And again, in regards to shoe maintenance, this is something you certainly look into in regards to making sure you get your shoes shined on a very regular basis to make sure that you keep that leather in check, make sure it doesn't dry, make sure the dirt is away at all times, because they do, leather is quite porous, so they do need to be attended by a good shoe polish or a good shoe polisher on a very regular basis. So do make sure, I know certainly in New York there's plenty of shoe shining shops around there. Once I actually did a very short documentary about a shoe shiner in New York, and I think I learned quite a bit, and he gave me a free shoe shine, so I can't go too wrong there. Okay, guys, moving on to our next product. It is